Good morning, Longhorn fans. Get your drinks up, get your horns up. We've got an 11 a.m. kick, little kegs and eggs. Welcome back to On Texas Football. We are happy to get your day started. I'm Jeff Howe, joined by Bobby Burton and Jerry Hamilton. Welcome to the Texas Tailgate, brought to you by our friends at Hargrove Roofing. We'll tell you more about Hargrove here later in the show. Also want to thank our game day sponsors, Tito's, Flight by Yingling, and Von Lane. Bobby, I'll start with you. Boots on the ground, down on the 40. What's the vibe? And more importantly, what's the weather like? We're starting to get some weather moving into the Austin.
Yeah, the weather is really sticky. It's overcast and sticky. I think that's the best way to put it. I got here around 8 o'clock, 7:45 this morning, and it was really no breeze whatsoever. There is a breeze starting right now that's a little bit better. But overall, guys, it's been humid, overcast. Not sure if this front's going to move through and what it's going to mean for this game.
Jerry, before we get into the game, big recruiting day potential. Sark loves these 11 a.m. kicks for recruiting and got some big visitors on campus today.
Yeah, it's September 20th is going to be the big weekend. But Tyler Atkinson, who did not play last night, I think he played a week ago. They're kind of resting that ankle against teams they know they're going to beat down. So he is in town with his family. Tyler Atkinson, the 5-star linebacker commitment. Also scheduled to be here, James Johnson, the 5-star defensive tackle commitment, who was at the Miami game last weekend. I'm headed to Florida. The reason I'm not in Austin today is I'm in Houston, and I'm headed to Florida after the game. I'm going to go see James Johnson, Dia Bell, Derek Cooper, all those guys next week. But James Johnson's scheduled to be in town. Vodney Cleveland also scheduled to be in town. There's some younger guys, some 27s, some 28s. Trey Moore, the receiver from Pflugerville Weiss there, one of the best junior receivers in the country. He's scheduled to be on campus as well. J. Storm Knight, the big young offensive tackle at Converse Judson. There'll be some other younger kids there on campus this week. But I think Jermaine Bishop may be scheduled to be in today as well. A few other commitments. But the big news is Tyler Atkinson in town from Atlanta. Obviously, Vodney Cleveland in town from Birmingham. James Johnson in town from Miami. Oh, and by the way, Dia Bell, Derek Cooper matched up last night in South Florida in one of the top high school games in the country. Last night, Chaminade Madonna, Jenny Burton's favorite, beat American Heritage 28-24, I believe it was, at the wire. Derek Cooper had a big game, 3 touchdowns, looked quick, explosive, and physical. Dia Bell had a really good game in the loss. So a couple of Texas commitments there that had big games last night, playing against each other in South Florida. I think that's the first time in Texas Longhorns recruiting history that they have 2 5-star recruits from the state of Florida that actually played against each other in a game.
Bobby, big recruiting weekend, but we know we're all here to see. We want to see the Longhorns get back on track after the Ohio State loss last week. Stark used the term on Monday, Bobby, that I'm hung up on: internal focus. We haven't spent much time this week talking about scheme or personnel with San Jose State. This game and the next 3, it's all about the Longhorns figuring out who they are and getting themselves right before SEC play.
Jeff, I think you're right. I think that I was talking to some people here at the tailgate earlier, our joint tailgate with Surly Horns. And if the Longhorns can just get confidence out of this game, that's really what they need on both sides of the ball, but particularly on offense, right, where they were so sluggish until the fourth quarter. And then a week ago, and even then didn't really punch it through much, right? They need to see some success early and often to get that confidence back, especially with Arch Manning. I got to tell you, game day is now picking up, by the way. The Longhorn band playing in the background right here on Robert Dedman in front of the northeast side of the stadium. It's going to be it's starting to pep up a little bit here over the last, I would say, 15 minutes. You're really starting to see fans stream into the area. I'm looking probably at 100, 200 people walking this way right now towards me. Kind of intimidating, actually, given that I'm seated and they're walking straight at. I feel like I'm like the, I don't know, what is it? I'm the little, I'm the bunny in the middle of a herd of cattle storming at me right now. That's what it feels like.
Jerry, you agree with Bobby? It's about confidence for Texas today and just trying to get something, just really get something new established, get that stench from the Ohio State loss off of them.
I think the message is play to the standard. Play to the standard. If Texas plays to the standard, they will walk away with a big victory and a decisive victory today against San Jose State team, which I do think. I said this yesterday at the co-op. I think you're going to see an inspired San Jose State early in this game because that was, as the head coach said, the worst loss of his career last week against Central Michigan at San Jose, where they had 3 bad turnovers at the quarterback position, a couple that would have been a pick six against a team the level of Texas. Running game, rush defense gave up 247 yards on 51 attempts, 401 on 30 carries to the 2 running backs for Central Michigan. It was an ugly game. You're going to see an inspired San Jose State team. We'll see if the weather – it was supposed to be really hot, 140 degrees on the field. If weather moves in, it won't be. That helps San Jose State. But I think for Texas, play to the standard. That's what you want to preach on both sides of the ball. And I think winning for the Texas offense on first downs is going to be really big today, because if they can get to the second and mediums right out of the gate, they're going to put a lot of pressure on the San Jose State defense, because San Jose State won't know what's coming. Is it going to be run? Is it going to be pass? I think first down offense for Texas early in this game is something to watch for me, because if Texas plays well in the early downs, they're going to have they're going to have the opportunity to score a lot of points today.
Jerry, to your point last week, you look at Texas on first down against Ohio State. They averaged 5.2 yards per play, which is plenty good on first down. But the running game, 5.9 yards per carry. Texas ran the ball well on first down. Arch last week, only 6 of 13 for 58 yards. So, Bobby, I want to get your opinion on this. This has kind of been one of my themes this week. Figuring out your offensive identity for Sark. It's not just, we can talk about the red zone and everything else, but I think figuring out what portions of your call sheet are really good for Arch on first down and to start drives. I think that's, to me, is as pivotal as anything you can get accomplished today.
I think what you're talking about there, Jeff, is putting him in a position to succeed.
Yep.
I mean, that's ultimately what we're talking about, is trying to get him in easier down and distance scenarios. So everything he's looking at is not 3rd and 10. It's not 2nd and 10. It's 2nd and 4, where he has some options as a passer to actually push downfield if he wants to. I think that's part of it. So first down success definitely matters to me. But I also think the timing throws that we discussed, something that's been brought up multiple times. Texas didn't really do a lot of that under Quinn Ewers on Saturday, and that was a staple of under Arch Manning on Saturday, excuse me. And that was a staple of what Quinn Ewers used to do, right? To get the game going and get everything on schedule. My take and what I want to see here is I want to see a mix of all of that, because that's when the Texas offense, I think, will click. It's not just one thing. It's not just do better on first down. It's not just get Arch quick game. It's all of that. And that's when the Texas offense, I think, will maximize. And I don't know if they'll maximize this early in the season, to be clear. I think, obviously, San Jose State is going to come in here, and they have nothing to lose in this game. So they're going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at the Longhorns. But I want to see Texas be able to take that and do something with it on a consistent basis. That's another piece that we really haven't hit on enough on this week, is not only do we want to see Arch and the offense move the ball, we want to see them move it consistently, because we all know that if you don't do it consistently, that's not the sign of a good offense, right? That's not what we want to see.
Hey, a little news here from CJ Vogel, who's in the stadium. If for those wondering on the chat, quarterback reps and warmups were Arch, Matt Caldwell, KJ Lacey in that order. So Matt Caldwell is your 2 today. KJ Lacey is your 3 based on the reps, and Trey Owens was 4th. So that's the way the reps have gone here this morning once they hit the field and started the reps.
Yeah, that follows directly our reporting throughout camp. At the start of the second or after the second scrimmage, Jerry, that's when Texas made the move to KJ Lacey at 3. I still say if and knock on wood here, something were to happen to KJ or to Arch Manning, I think Caldwell would be the first off the bench, but I don't necessarily know that he would necessarily start the next game.
I agree.
And that speaks volumes about how good that young player is.
Mm-hmm. I want to talk about young players here.
First, CJ, James Johnson is in the building. CJ is in the stadium, and he sees James Johnson on the field right now. So James Johnson is here. He's spending some time with Aaron Joe right now, who obviously is one of the top recruiting guys for the Longhorns.
Outstanding. I want to get to some young players. We got a couple of super chats I actually get to, but before we do anything else, I want to say thank you very much to our friends over at Hargrove Roofing for being our lead sponsor for the Texas Tailgate this morning. With offices across Texas, including Austin, as well as Louisiana and Arkansas, Hargrove Roofing will take care of all of your roofing needs. Plus, they're Longhorn friendly with partners like former defensive tackle Stevie Lee, who you can catch every Monday here on Texas Football on the Winning Drive. They are the most pro burnt orange roofing company out there. No one wants to turn their home over to a company they can't trust. So call Hargrove today for a free, no strings attached roof inspection. Just call 512-645-3202. Again, that's 512-645-3202. Hargrove Roofing, know who's on your roof. Bobby, I'll go to you. We had some reporting late in the week that it looks like Jonah Williams is going to make his Texas debut this week. A lot of young guys expected to maybe get their first run in a Texas uniform in this game today. If you could power rank it for me, Bobby, who are you most excited to see today? Either get more playing time than they got last week or make their debut.
Well, first of all, I'm not sure Jonah's going to play, but he is practicing, which could portend that he plays. He wasn't even practicing full go. We believe until this week, Jeff. The reporting was that we'll see him. We think we'll see him sometime in the next 2 or 3 weeks before they enter SEC play, as long as his health remains. What I would add to you, just a power ranking of guys I want to see today outside of Jonah, I really want to see more of Dalen McCutcheon. I think we need to see if Texas can build depth there. I want to see Cade Phillips, the defensive back, cornerback, see what he can do and see if he can add anything to the equation. And then also Nick Brooks, Nick Townsend, and Christian Clark. If I had to power rank them, I would probably go Christian Clark at this point. I think that's going to be a big deal for Texas if they can get it done, because I think the Longhorns are going to need more power and more pieces in the backfield this year.
Jerry, anybody else you really want to see today? Or really, I think that counts for the next 3 weeks as we get to see a lot of these young guys get some run.
And by the way, Bodney Cleveland is on the field now too. So James Johnson and Bodney Cleveland are on the field with the Texas recruiting staff. Yeah, look, I'm big on Nick Brooks. I want to see Nick Brooks. And I'm not sitting there saying there needs to be competition, but I do think he's a mover of people and is really, really talented. I know he had the incident, but every person I talked to coming out of the spring was that guy's a future first-round pick. Well, your future first-round picks, they need to find a way to get those guys on the field in some capacity, whether it's rotational or not. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Nick Brooks, and that could help solidify, get his first game action, help solidify the depth on that offensive line. These are big 3 games for him coming up to get his feet wet in college football and really help solidify the depth on this Texas offensive line. Nick Townsend to me too, look, because I really believe he is, and I loved him coming out of high school. You know, this guys, he was such a physical football player. He could have been just as good as an outside linebacker, as an edge rush linebacker, as he is a tight end. He wants to be a tight end. He wants to be an offensive player. So when you have that physicality, you are more than a willing blocker. You don't bring that guy in to be the main blocker on a play in his first college snap if he's not very physical and they've seen it camp. So my point of the long-winded answer is this. When Texas goes 12 personnel in the future, I look for them to have 2 pass receiving threats, as long as Nick Townsend and Jack Indries can do enough in blocking in the run game. I think 2 pass receiving threats is where Texas is going to ultimately go in 12 personnel this year.
Jerry, to your point about Nick Townsend, he got in on the first series against Ohio State. Yes. He made a great block. You know, Texas runs a lot of split flow with their tight ends, blocking back across the formation, just leveled a really good hit on Curry. Unfortunately, that was really the only time we saw Nick Townsend. But to your point, Jerry, if the physicality and the willingness to put his face in there and get dirty is there, we know the athleticism will track. Nothing but bright future ahead for Nick Townsend. Let's go ahead and get to a couple of super chats, guys. Sugarcane Daddy, not the crop. Thank you for the super chat. Says, forget the haters. Arch throws for 3 bills today. I don't know, Bobby, if it's going to be 3 bills, but based on the body language and the vibe we got from Arch on Monday, I think you'll see a determined Arch Manning behind center for Texas today.
I think we'll see a determined Arch as well. we talked about this yesterday at the co-op. Jerry, myself, Rod Babers, Jeff. We're looking for somewhere in that 65 to 75% completion ratio, and I really don't care how many yards he passes for. I want to see somebody that's confident and on time and accurate. We see those three things out of Arch Manning in this game. Everything else will come. I believe that, but he has to start off with being more accurate, more in time, all of that stuff, in my opinion. Once we get there with Arch, it's everything, every man for himself. Because if he can be the straw that stirs the drink of this offense, items change. The whole aspect of the team, I think, changes. Hey, let's bring in CJ Vogel now. He is on the field. CJ, how you doing, buddy? Or not on the field, but in the stands.
Doing well, guys. They're getting pumped up behind me. You can hear it a little bit behind me, but the team's on the field. San Jose State just took the field and was welcomed pretty warmly by the student section, which you see is starting to fill up as well over there in the north end zone.
CJ, you got your rain jacket for today. I know you're going to be in the covered area, but what's the weather look like out there, man? Because people in the chat are worried there's going to be a delay in this game.
Well, hopefully not. I think we were all excited for that home return for the Texas Longhorns. It's very overcast, as you see. I'm going full weatherman, trying to do the green screen. But the breeze just started to come in. Bobby, you could talk about it as well. It was very sticky, very muggy, very humid earlier this morning. Only about the last 20 or 30 minutes or so have you started to feel some sort of breeze. I don't know if you can get a good glimpse of the flags on the goalpost, but they're dead still.
Yeah,
yet there's still a breeze or a little bit right now in the stadium.
CJ, I had something else for you, CJ, and that is you were reporting down there KJ Lacey running third-team quarterback this morning. You also saw Vodney Cleveland, recruits Vodney Cleveland, James Johnson, as well as Tyler Atkinson expected on campus today as well.
Yeah, I was able to see Vodney Cleveland, James Johnson. They were hanging out with Aaron Joe, one of the big-time Texas personnel department guys. Haven't seen Tyler Atkinson just yet, but here's Matthew Caldwell throwing. KJ Lacey will follow him up immediately after. Of course, Arch Manning out here throwing and warming up as well. One name I haven't seen just yet. Still waiting for some of these running backs to walk out here. Still waiting to see what comes of this warm-up session. I think Texas might be utilizing some of these younger pieces a little bit this afternoon. So waiting to see a little bit more for these guys as they walk out onto the field. And, of course, waiting to see that return for Arch Manning back here at DKR.
Hey, CJ, what's it like on walking down Bevo Boulevard crowd-wise this morning? Is it a little slower, smaller crowd than expected, or where is it at for the opener?
Yeah, I walked by probably around 2 hours, 15 minutes, 2 hours, 30 minutes before kickoff, right around, 8:30. It was looking pretty full. Bevo Boulevard remains, if you're just walking through, you're bumping shoulder to shoulder, playing bumper cars essentially, but a good crowd. Folks, again, are very excited. I know you can't really tell behind me, but it is starting to fill up a little bit ahead of schedule. They just hit the 90-minute mark. Actually, the smoke of the cannon blow just scared the hell out of me. I'm not going to lie. So, but yeah, we're getting excited over here.
Hey, CJ, I've got the band playing in my ear right now, so I can feel for you. Look, Longhorns got a big one today. This is the home opener. The crowd is starting to fill up outside, which is eventually going to make it over to you as well. Jeff, do you have something for CJ there?
Only thing, CJ, I know we talked a lot this week about the wide receivers as we get closer to kickoff. Who do you have your eye on today that you're looking to, make amends for last week and maybe what they didn't do against Ohio State?
Yeah, I mean, on top of the freshmen, I think this is a big opportunity for not just Ryan Niblett, but if you're Aaron Butler, you have to find a way to prove to this staff that you belong on the field. And if you don't, and you can't prove it over the next 3 weeks, I don't know if there's a spot for you long-term in this offense. This is the biggest opportunity he will have for the next 3 weeks, and it starts today. So, Aaron Butler, I have my pin circling your name for today. Go show me that you can be a guy that Texas can rely upon and trust, especially with that dynamic wiggle that he possesses with the ball in his hands.
And CJ, just for the record, still no depth chart in the press box this week?
Not a thing, Jeff. We're out here giving our best guess, essentially.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I actually have an issue with that personally.
Hey, CJ, appreciate you, buddy. You have a good one. We'll talk to you after the game, in the post game as well. Hey, Jeff, we got some players video from showing up earlier today at the game, making their way in, courtesy of our friend here. Look at this. Good stuff. What do you think of these suits? Look at Connor Stroh.
This is NIL dollars well spent for me. That's what this is.
I love it, Jerry. There's a suit. Trey Weiser always a looking start. You'll see.
Brooks looked like he was wearing Tennessee orange, man. Rewind that tape.
Jerry, I don't know if he still is, but lifetime Longhorn basketball letterman Carlton Dixon with Reveal Suits. I know they were hooking the guys up, styling some of these suits for them. I don't know if that's still the case. There's Coach Akina with just I got the ball cap and the jacket on. But yeah, I'm digging the bow ties, man. I'm digging the.
By the way, there's like 40. There's like 40 personnel people. Like there's almost needs to be a bus for the personnel people at this point. Maybe reaching the point of enough personnel people.
Jerry, just so you know, they do have their own bus.
Yeah,
so
they should.
There's that. But no one's complaining about number one ranked recruiting classes, my friend. I will tell you that much. Look, we've talked this game until we're blue in the face. There are some late personnel issues that we're going to discuss here. We do expect one defensive starter out. We are not going to say who that is publicly until the game. That's something we're going to adhere to here. But we do expect that to happen. We are also hearing there may be another couple guys that have nagging injuries that may not play that are upperclassmen. So just wait and see. I don't know that that's going to be actually starters per se, but some nagging injuries we'll take a look at. There are a couple of raindrops that just fell on me here, guys. CJ was talking about that, but it looks like it's one of those like intermittent, like maybe a raindrop or two actually falling on you. It's not consistent at this point, but it does feel like it just got a little bit cooler with a little bit more wind here on campus at DKR.
I might not need as much of the talcum powder on the sideline today, if you know what I mean, if it goes down a little bit. But to your point, Bobby, about personnel, maybe some alterations, if you will, for this one. Tango Lima Foxtrot, thank you for the super chat, says, which defensive starter is out today? Jerry, to Bobby's point about maybe some guys that might have some nagging injuries that, we'll see how the staff manages that. I think you got to remember, in the college football playoff era, of college football, when you think you could be playing upwards of 16, 17 games, load management, for lack of a better term, Jerry, becomes pretty critical.
Yeah, no, it does. It absolutely does. And look, this is one of the things that we've talked about earlier. It says Ryan Nelson, rain starting in 23 minutes. I was just looking at the radar. It looks like everything's going to move through about 11:55-ish. Maybe some rain coming from 10 to 11:30-ish in that area, unless it dissipates. But I think the load management's huge. And this is one of the things I talked about before the season with Ty Anthony Smith's. When Sark started giving hints on him, I said, we're going to see Anthony Hill play a few less reps, a few less snaps in some of these games. And that's going to be a reason why, because they have the depth, because Anthony Hill was so beat up at the end of last year that they want him to be a healthier player come the stretch run and playoff time versus how beat up his body was last year. And I think we're going to see that. That's where the depth comes in. That's why you recruit to this level. And that's what's good about being a blue blood. And the tough thing about not is you should have the depth on this team and on this roster. And Texas does have that depth. We should see more Colton Vossick today, more Brad Spence today. Some of those guys, and Brad Spence only had 5 snaps last week. A lot of that was because Ohio State was in 12 personnel, and Texas went to more of the hero canoe at 5 tech, went to more of the jumbo defense on the front. But you're going to start to see some of this depth now, and you're going to start to see these next 3 games. Maybe a starter plays 6, 7, 8 less reps at times in some spots. And I think that's a great thing as the season moves along, because you're getting younger players ready to go in case of injury, 1. And 2, you're taking off that load management you talk about, Jeff, this is part of the plan for these teams now. This is a big part of the plan. So these guys are healthier at the end of the season and not so beat up like Anthony Hill was a year ago.
Exactly. I want to take a second real quick to thank some of our sponsors. Again, our friends at Hargrove Roofing for sponsoring today's Texas Tailgate. Also want to thank Tito's. Want to thank Von Lane and Flight by Inling. Again, Saturday conversation posted this morning on the site. We got the Texas Tailgate right now. The watch with us starting at 11 o'clock, and then the post game immediately following the game today. So make sure you're locked in here on the On Texas Football YouTube channel for everything we've got going on today. Bobby, as we start to wind it down here, any closing thoughts for you?
I think Texas needs to go out and play its game, focus on what they can control today and get after it. I would add this, it's time for the home crowd to show up and get going. I'm gonna do this. Texas! 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 OU! All right, I got to get out of here before it starts raining, guys.
All right, Bobby, thank you very much. Yeah, it's getting a little rainy down on the 48.
Yeah. And by the way, watching College Game Day, Brent Venables looked just as awkward during his interview with Game Day as he always does. Boy, that guy, he always looks awkward and nervous.
Yeah, I mean, I accused Ryan Day of that, but Brent Venables takes the cake for sure on that point, Jerry. Jerry, let's get to a couple super chats here as we start to wrap up. Cisco Diaz, Niblet needs a punt return today. Jerry, I hope we see a lot of I hope we see a lot of opportunities for Texas to return punts, maybe block a punt today. A lot more Will Stone in the kickoff team, a lot less Jack Bomeister in the punt team today is all I really want to see out of the kicking game.
Yeah. A bye week for Bomeister would be good. A couple of bye weeks for Bomeister wouldn't be a bad thing. I actually want to see a couple of field goals today. I want Mason Shipley to get a couple of field goal attempts, maybe not in the rain in the first hour, maybe in the second half of this game. I want Mason Shipley to get a couple of kicks under his belt. Hopefully 4 or 5 field goal attempts here the next 3 games. You don't want your first field goal attempt to be at Ohio State in the fourth quarter or at Florida in the fourth quarter. So hopefully they can get a few kicks for Matthew, Shipley, Mason Shipley here in the next 3 weeks. Also, the punt returner, Ryan Niblet. I don't think he's going to be the only punt returner we see today. I think that's going to be something to watch. I think Ryan Niblet's got to be more comfortable fielding short punts. You can't give up that type of field position.
No doubt.
And I think he was told to not field it if you don't feel comfortable on the short punts last week. And I think that cost you 10, 12 yards on a couple of punts. So I think we're going to see a couple of punt returners today. I'm interested to see if we see any change in the kickoff return game here. Now we'll see how many times San Jose State kicks it. And then I think that one of the other things for me on the special teams is I could see Texas going after a punt today. I really could see them going after a punt today.
Especially with a wet ball, Jerry. Maybe there's a bad snap or a mishandled punt. Yeah, not a bad idea to come after one. I know Jeff Banks and Sark really wanted to get back to that this year. Not many opportunities to do it last week. We'll see if they do it this week. Justin Yarbrough, thank you for the super chat. So let's see the guys go out and dominate. I want to see a fun offense today. Vanilla is okay, but needs some splash plays. Good morning and hook 'em, fellas. Jerry, I go back to kind of what you and Bobby said. To me, it's about confidence more than anything and really starting to figure out, okay, who are you? You can hang 70 on San Jose State if you want and still have major issues coming out of this game, but really just get the core, the foundation of who you want to be offensively. A lot of that's going to start today.
Yeah, and I've said it all week, and I really hope San Jose State plays a lot of zone today. I hope it's just not just a load the box, play man, and take your chances, get your check, and get out of town day and condense the game. I hope they play a lot of zone today because I think that helps Texas long term. I don't think man-to-man matchups where Texas is going to win those and just completing balls over the top necessarily helps Texas get to be a better football team. Yeah, what Arch needs to see it all happen, but I really hope San Jose State throws a lot of zone at Texas today. I think that helps Sark, and I think that helps Arch. Not that Sark needs help, but I think it helps Sark with Arch if they see a lot of zone today. And I think that would help Arch long term. So that's what I hope happens today. And I hope that San Jose State actually doesn't try to condense the game so much offensively because if they throw it 40 or 50 times and the weather could be impactful in this, I expect it. They will throw it down the field, but you expect it to be more short game stuff, keep the clock running. That's the one thing. I don't want to see San Jose State go to a higher run percentage in this game because then they're just trying to condense the game, get on a plane, and get out of town. I hope it's actually the full meal deal for Texas today.
Jerry, real quick, any final thoughts as we wrap this up and get ready for kickoff?
No, look, I think play to the standard. I think Sark will reference that after the game. He's going to say we wanted to see this team play to the standard, in the internal standard, the standard of the expectations of the Sark and the coaching staff, and the expectations and the standard of Texas football and what that's become. I think that's the goal today. I think that's the mission today, and I think we're going to see a Texas team that's really focused coming out today. And I do think there's a chance that San Jose State comes with a lot of energy early in this game. And it may not be extremely fast start for Texas, but I do think San Jose State's going to bring their best shot because they had an embarrassing loss a week ago in their opener at home.
All right, Jerry, thank you for the knowledge and expertise as always. Thank you to Bobby down on the 40 acres at our tailgate. Thank you to producer Matthew, also down there working hard. John Burrows on the social media side. CJ's at the stadium. He'll have updates before, during, and after the game today. Also, thank you to Hargrove Roofing for our lead sponsor for Texas Tailgate this morning. Also, thank you to Tito's. Thank you to Flight by Yingling, and thank you to Von Lane for sponsoring our game day coverage here on the On Texas Football YouTube channel. Don't forget, coming up at 11 o'clock when the game starts, we'll get to watch with us here on the channel. Myself, Rod Babers, Jerry's going to be on there. Coach Bob Shipley, Aaron Hogan hosting it. Will all be on there throughout the game. Jeff,
by the way, I will shave live when Texas scores a touchdown in the red zone today if I'm on.
There you go.
Jeff, I don't know if you know, I haven't shaved all week. I'm not shaving until Texas scores a red zone touchdown this year. And
Jerry,
gosh, that better be before October.
That's a sponsorship opportunity loss. It's a dang coach mistake on our parts. But yes, so make sure you're locked in here. Make sure you like this. Make sure you're subscribed to the On Texas Football YouTube channel. Also get over to ontexasfootball.com. If you're not a member over there, sign up using the promo code OTFOG. That'll get you 1 year of access over to ontexasfootball.com for $39.95. Everybody be safe. Enjoy kickoff. And we will be here alongside you before, during, and after Texas and San Jose State. For Jerry, for Bobby, for Matthew, for the entire On Texas football staff, for Hargrove Roofing for sponsoring, also for our friends at Tito's, Flight by Yingling, and Von Lane, I'm Jeff Howe. Thank you so much for watching and listening. And until next time, hook 'em.